Hey designers, I'm Dan, product designer and UX career coach. And in this video, I'll share with you 3 tactics you can use in order to become more valuable to the company by becoming a doer. And the reason I'm making this video is because this is really the thing that has helped me in my career. It's accelerated my path towards senior. It's really been what people bring up when they have feedback about me. So the product area manager, head of experience design, head of innovation, they've all said that something that is super positive about me is that I take initiative, show leadership, and make things happen. So by the end of this video, you'll know what you can do to do that and what you can do today to start your journey into becoming a doer. So the first tactic, which is the most important one, and I think it fits UX designers quite well because you basically just use your UX skills, but look at it from a broader perspective. And basically, what you should do as the first tactic is to look at your team, your manager, the design community, and see what are their goals, what are they trying to achieve, and make that happen. I've found that a lot of people have difficulty thinking in this way, at least in the beginning of their career, because we've basically been taught that you're supposed to do what is expected. So for example, for a test or for a course, this is what you have to do, and that's how you're gonna get an A. But that's not how you get an A in the real world. If you follow the expectations, that's gonna get you like a C or maybe a B. But to be a top performer, you have to exceed the expectations. And to do that, you need to really understand what are the goals of the people you want to help and think about, okay, how can you actually do that? And not necessarily look at what you as a product designer are expected to do. Think more broadly, think more as a problem solver. What can you do in order to get the team to where they want to be? So it's kind of like when you create a product, when people say what they want, it's kind of like people saying that they want faster horses, but it's your job to invent the car. So what's the car for your team, for your PO? What are their goals? And what can you design for them to get there? So for me, the first time I really implemented this was when I was working for a startup in Hong Kong. I was a UX UI designer there, and I felt that I wanted to have more impact in order to, be seen as a valuable member. So I pitched an idea to the CEO and head of product that I wanted to work on the metrics. So basically I wanted to work with growth. So I pitched that idea to them. I said we could do experiments. We can monitor how that affects the retention. We'll do A/B tests. And they really liked that because that fits with their goals. So their goal basically was to continue running the startup, make it profitable. And one way to do that is to get more money from investors so that they can keep finding a way to make the app profitable. And one thing that will make people really interested is by showing that you have good retention. Because if you have good retention, that means that your users want to come back because they're getting value. And my idea really aligned with that because I could run experiments to improve retention. And my light turned off. I don't know if you saw that. But you can run experiments to improve the retention, which is what we did. And we ended up improving the retention 25%. So that actually led to a case study that I presented to H&M Group and is one of the reasons I got hired in the end. And then when I eventually started at H&M Group, I implemented this as well. I was listening to the head of experience design talking about his vision for H&M Group. He said that he wanted it to be the place to be for product designers. And I thought about that. And I knew that people didn't really know that H&M Group is really investing in product design. They don't know that we have 80 designers now. So I I thought about that problem and then looked at what other big companies were doing, people who really show that they have they are investing in product design, in design, and have a strong design culture. And most of them had a design blog. So I wrote an email to the head of experience design, pitching that idea. And then he said, "That sounds great. How about you present that during the weekly meeting?" I said, "Okay, sure." And then I put together a quick presentation, and and I got some help from other people. And guess what? Now we have a design blog. It's on Medium. I'll put the link below. So that's just another example of how you can do it. That, among other things, put me on the radar with UX leadership, because they saw that I was taking initiative, I was questioning things. So they asked if I wanted to switch from my team then, which was web checkout, to a new team in innovation and incubation, where I am today, working on a strategically important product, which hopefully you can see in a few months. I don't know, let's see. And then in my current team, that's when I've really used this. So I've had a number of suggestions. So I suggested we gather all the assumptions we have, gather them on an assumptions board, and then switching from Scrum to Kanban, because that doesn't really fit the exploratory work we're doing. And then instead of having the regular OKRs, the regular key results that we have in all of the other product teams, which is more about launching different kinds of features and getting a certain type of result, I suggested that we instead focus on reducing risk and the learning velocity we have. So how many experiments are we running? So all of that is implemented now because I suggested that, and I wouldn't say that's necessarily a product designer's responsibility. Maybe that's more like on the management side. But I mean, now we have that, and that's valuable. So if you want an action point now, I would suggest you to pick a piece of paper and then write down people that you want to help. Or so for example, you can think about your manager or your product owner, or like the design community in your company, and think about what are their goals. And if you don't know what their goals are, then you can have a talk, have a chat, book a meeting with your manager or like head of experience design, and try to tease out what they're trying to achieve. Like sometimes they might know, sometimes they might not, like when you have a user interview for a product. So get their goals, get them out there, and then start brainstorming about how you can help them achieve that, and then pitch that idea to them. But Dan, you might say, how do I get the ideas? I don't know what we should be doing. And to that, I say, wait until we get to the next tactic, which is right now. And that's basically is to start reading, because that's where you're gonna get a lot of these ideas. Because to get this kind of output, you need good input, and books is a really good, dense source of information. So I have a video about how to create a reading habit. So check that out if you want tips on that. But basically, if you go back to the examples I gave you, I actually got those ideas from reading books. So I don't know if you hear that. Do you hear the helicopter? Okay, but let's continue. So like the idea of me focusing on growth, I got that idea after reading Hacking Growth by Sean Ellis. And then the idea of having a design blog, that kind of came from me reading marketing books. So I read, for example, .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets, all by Russell Brunson. That kind of get my brain juices going. And then the ideas I had about, okay, how do we work with innovation? That came from Testing Business Ideas and The Invincible Company, written by Strategizer. So that's like yeah, I wouldn't be able to have these ideas how to pitch if I hadn't read those books. So definitely get a book, get a book, because I think the difficult part is that there are so many things you can do, so it's difficult to choose one. But these books will kind of talk to they will tell you what's kind of a best practice, and I mean, it gives you clarity, makes you understand what you should do basically. Because when you read these books, you'll automatically think about the situation you're facing, and ideas will come. Trust me, just start reading. If you want some specific book recommendations, you can check. I don't know where I'm gonna do it. You can check this video again. I have some recommendations in the end, so go check that out. And then we get to the final tactic, which is to get a mentor or coach. And the reason for that is that's gonna provide you a really good shortcut in getting where you wanna be. And it will help you focus even more because you can tell them about your context. So for example, if you're reading a book, you will hear about what you can do in kind of more general situations. But if you share your struggles and your context with a coach or mentor, then they will tell you, okay, then you should be doing this. So yeah, find a mentor, find a coach who is where you want to be in a few years, and they can tell you about their journey, what worked, what didn't, so that you don't have to, do all the mistakes they did, because you're not, for the most part, you're not trying to do something that hasn't been done. So learn from someone who has already done this. It will save you a lot of headache. So I think I had my first proper mentor in Hong Kong. So his name is Peter Lau, and that was set up through IXDA Hong Kong, actually. Shout out, thank you. And this was when I wanted to have more impact, as I mentioned before, at the startup I was working on, but I felt that I couldn't get my ideas accomplished. When I pitched things, they didn't really, the startup didn't really see the value in it. So I told all of these things to Peter, and he said, well, have you read any business books? Because the people you're talking with, they're speaking in the language of business, and right now you're speaking to them in the language of design. So there's miscommunication. They don't understand the value you're bringing, and you don't understand what they're trying to achieve. So if you actually look back to all the things I've said, they're all very business oriented. So that has been a huge help in me getting to where I am today. I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't had that talk with him. So thank you, Peter, for mentoring me there. So definitely get a mentor or coach. So if you want to find one right now, you can go to adplist.com. I'm there as well. And there are other people from big companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, all of that is over there. That's for free also. There are also other options. So for example, something that is more comprehensive like coaching, you can go to Superpeer for that. I'm also there, link in the description. So for example, I do 30-minute free mentorship on ADP List. And then for someone who needs more help, I also do 1-hour workshops on Superpeer. But that is not free because that requires more work. But if that sounds interesting, as I said, link in bio. But yeah, so those are 3 tactics on how you can become a doer and become more valuable at your company. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe, really helps the channel. And if you like this kind of topic, I also have a weekly newsletter, link in the description, where I basically share what I learned during the week from reading books, watching videos, listening to podcasts. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hej då!